I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I had to leave. I will let you go. Why do you think that I want? Why do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get set for race number 17 of the 8th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Get ready to cap off our doubleheader race weekend here from the Iowa Speedway. Third time that the Cup Series drivers have been here to this short track, and it continues our road towards the playoffs. As we still have a long ways to go here in the second half of the regular season. We've seen a bunch of new drivers go to victory lane here in the last couple of weeks, with Brommer, Batson, most recently Connor Breton picking up the checkered flag at Hillside. Mentioned this in the Light Series race yesterday. We've had a lot of different drivers go to victory lane, and while that makes it exciting for us to try and figure out who's going to get those playoff spots, whether it's the top 10 in points or the 6 wildcard spots here on the Cup side, it also makes things very convoluted into trying to figure out, especially in the wild card battle, who is going to get one of the spots and who's just going to be on the outside looking in once we get to that final regular season race at Auto Club Speedway. But nonetheless, we are getting set here tonight for 100 laps at the Iowa Speedway. And in both the Lights and the Cup Series qualifying sessions to run for the pole, our eventual pole sitter waited until the final minute of the session to put down the fastest lap. On the Light side, it was Roberto Crown Jr. On the Cup side, Nick Gunther. Gunther capturing his first pole of the season, looking for his first victory of Season 8. Nick Gunther's up there in the top 5 for most all-time wins in Duracell Cup Series history, and he'd love to add another to that total here this evening. We'll see if he can go coast-to-coast pole to win. Is starting track position going to really be all that important? I'll bring up why I'm asking that question in just a moment, but let's talk about the guy on the outside of the front row. That's a former champion and Kyle Matthews. Now, both of these drivers, Gunther and Matthews, their last couple of weeks, the finishes have been really good. They've actually been ascending in the point standings. The problem is, both of these drivers had entirely different first halves of the regular season. Gunther, he struggled out of the gate, but he really started to pick it up about 5 races in and found himself up in the top 10 in points by the time we got to the All-Star break. He has continued to build on that. He comes into this race 7th in overall points. Kyle Matthews, on the other hand, he found absolutely zero momentum during the first half of the regular season. Now, after the All-Star break, he started to pick things up a little bit, and he has picked up a spot or two here week after week. However, this is a driver that found himself at one point the lowest driver in the point standings of all the full-time chartered rides, and as a consequence, even though, as I mentioned, he's been picking up a couple of spots here the last couple of weeks, he's 37th in overall points. Kyle really needs... Honestly, I don't know what Kyle needs at this point in time. There's a bunch of drivers down there where he's at that I'm not exactly sure what it is they need right now. I don't know if they need 2, 3, 4 weeks of just straight top 5, top 10 finishes, or if they need a victory. It might be a combination of both, but we're getting to a point now, not necessarily yet, but when we start to get to tracks like Donkey Kong's Jungle Raceway, Kentucky Homestead, that's when we start to get into the must-win territory. And we could be right on the edge of it right now for Matthews and a number of others. I see Shelton, LaPlante, McCrory, Sanford, Voiles, Ormond. Those drivers that are down there outside the top top 30 in points. We could be starting to get into that conversation for those drivers now, that they have to find victory lane if they're going to have a ghost of a shot at winning this thing. We got to remember back to last season. When Jessica Shelton ended up winning the championship, she did so by being way down in the point standings to begin the season. However, let's remember that her fuel strategy win at Chicagoland was just before the All-Star break. She was then able to build on that momentum during the second half of the regular season. These other drivers that I just mentioned were past the All-Star break. That opportunity, that window of opportunity is closed. Now we've got to start finding victory lane, and I think we've got to start finding victory lane multiple times here, because I'm not even 100% certain. I can't really necessarily right now do the math in my head, and I know there's a number of races still left to go before we put the playoff grid together, but I'm not necessarily certain if you can rely on points at this point in time. I think you have to find victory lane multiple times, get up into a high-seeded wildcard spot if you're any of those drivers I mentioned. So Kyle's got good starting track position. We'll see what he can do with it. Look who's starting third. So a team coming into this weekend that, especially into this race, that I think a lot of eyes are on, Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Why? Well, two reasons. Number one, yesterday's Light Series race saw Cody Majorek go to victory lane for the first time in his career. That was in a Joanna Atwood Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro. The defending winner of this race from 1 season ago is James Qualls. That was one of his 3 victories on the season, a Joanna Atwood Motorsports driver. Joshua Osborne, out of said stable, is going to be starting pretty up towards the front of the field in the 3rd position. So keep an eye on him, looking for what I believe would be his 3rd career win, first of the season. Osborne's doing pretty well in the point standings as well. He's 15th in overall points, regardless of the fact he's only got 3 top 10s and 2 top 5s here in the first 16 races. But you know, the consistency, as I say, you don't have to necessarily finish top 10 every week. If you finish consistently top 15, you're more than likely going to garner enough points to be able to at least get into the playoffs through the top 10 in overall standings. And so Osborne with some good momentum. We'll see if he can make it back-to-back seasons that a Joanna Atwood Motorsports Chevrolet goes to victory lane and sweep the weekend for the organization between Lights and Cup. Making up the outside of row number 2 is Eric Monaco. Now, Eric, it's kind of a 50-50 on good-bad so far for him. On the bad side, he currently finds himself mired in the point standings 25th. He's only got 2 top 10s to his credit. Both those top 10s were top 5 finishes. That's the bad side. The good side is he comes in as one of 4 full-time rookies, and he is currently leading the rookie point standings, albeit by 1 point over Summer Henson. So I think we could say for Eric Monaco here in his rookie season, the defending Light Series champion has been consistently inconsistent, if that makes sense. He's kind of been flip-flopping with good finish here, bad finish there. He's got to find a little bit of a consistent streak here, and you know, we've talked about in the last couple of seasons, the rookies have showed out. We had, 5 different rookies, 6 different rookies go to victory lane last season. I think we had 5 different rookies go to victory lane back in season 6. The only rookie that's gone to victory lane so far here in season 8, that was Eric Sadler. We've not yet seen Summer Henson in victory lane. Same for Eric Monaco. Bryce Egan, who's in the Rookie of the Year battle, as well as Danny Bouchard. They've been close. Some of those drivers just mentioned, they've been close, but they haven't been able to close out the deal. So Eric Monaco tried to become the 2nd rookie to go to victory lane here in Season 8. We'll be talking a lot about the playoffs, different drivers hovering around that cut line. There's a couple of tiebreakers that we have to have here tonight as well as we prepare for 100 laps at Iowa. But it's time to go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports and then get ready to go racing here in the Midwest.
Drivers, start your engines!
Right side of your screen, you'll see the 42-car starting lineup. And we'll take you through your top 10 in the point standings coming into tonight. Levi McIntyre, who will roll off the grid from the 10th position, comes in the points leader. He's got 13 points in hand over a tie for 2nd between 3-time winner Carson Gum and Alexander Rowe. Ryan Brommer, our winner from Charlotte, 14 points back in 4th. James Qualls, the defending winner of this race, he sits 5th, 47 points out of the points lead. Jack Mitchell is 6th. Nick Gunther, our pole sitter, 7th. Matt McIntyre in 8th. Connor Breton, after his victory last week at Hillside, jumped up 11 spots in the standings to 9th. And Quentin Moore, Michael Norman, those two are tied for the 10th position, the final points-paying position to lock into the playoffs. We'll talk about the wild card spots here in just a moment. But 100 laps here from Iowa Speedway ready to be run, and Nick Gunther will bring us to the green. The 2 previous seasons that we ran Iowa Speedway, we ran with the normal next-gen car, now with the modified next-gen car, that rear wing, the spoiler. It'll be interesting to see how that changes the dynamic of the racing here this evening. A lot more downforce available for these drivers. Nick Gunther up the track, trying to hang on to lead the first lap, and he will do so, but Osborne will get to his inside as they head for turn 1, as Nick completely overdrove the entry to turn 3. They'll remain side by side here through 1 and 2. A little bit of momentum up on the top side off the second corner for Gunther. Let's see if he can nail turn 3's entry this time. Little lower, parked it in there. Through the center of the corner, gets back to the throttle, and he'll keep the top spot. So Nick Gunther learned his lesson from the first lap, makes the adjustment here on the second lap. Jesse Turner will slot into 3rd place, 4th place under contest. Eric Monaco around the outside of R.J. Bishop, who will battle back. A couple of Chevrolets behind them, with Matthews trying to get in front of Benjamin Miles, which he will do so. So Matthews will slot to 6th. Battle for 5th, make that 4th, still continues. Bishop will now take the spot after Monaco will slip up off the corner. Wild card positions coming into tonight. Only 4 drivers are currently in wild card positions via a victory. 2-time winner Matt Haas, 13th in overall points, is in the number 1 wild card spot. 2-time winner Destin Bolin, 17th in overall points, holds the number 2 wild card position. Eric Sadler, who currently finds himself 12th in overall points with a victory, is the number 3 wild card spot driver, and Keith Batson, who's 23rd overall. Former winner is in the number 4 wildcard spot, which means that the final 2 wildcard spots currently would be in the possession of the drivers highest in points outside the top 10 without a victory. Those drivers coming into tonight would be Summer Henson, who is 14th in overall points coming tonight, and 2nd place running Joshua Osborne, who is 15th in overall standings. This is, of course, based off the fact that both Quentin Moore and Michael Norman are tied for 10th in points. Otherwise, if one or the other was 1 or 2 points behind the other, then Norman or Moore would be in the 5th wildcard position. It would move that cut line down. Osborne was on the back bumper of Gunther for the lead. He lost some ground. Gunther's pulled away. And now R.J. Bishop looks to close in. Well, as soon as I say that, look at the run Osborne was able to get on the front straightaway. Close the gap right back up on Nick Gunther. As things very spread out here at the front of the field. 4-car breakaway, and then the stack up from 5th place on back. Eric Monaco looks behind him, sees the Napa logo looming large of Benjamin Miles. Eric Sadler just pulled a nice move on Levi McIntyre to move up to 7th place. Remember, Eric ran in the lights race here yesterday en route to a top 5, so keep an eye on the 12 car here this evening, looking for his 2nd win on the season. Eric did actually win at another short track, a flat oval at North Wilkesboro for his first career win, so probably should have had him on the list of ones to watch here tonight. And right behind him, Levi McIntyre, the points leader. Looking for another solid outing. Levi, so far this season, holds the most top 10s with 8. He has the highest averaging finishing position as well at just over 14th place. And as a consequence, he is the points leader coming into tonight and has been able to maintain that points lead for quite a number of weeks. Been very consistent as the driver of the 99. Autumn Brooks right now in the 9th position. She and Kyle Langland were the 2 drivers to race their way in knockout qualifying here yesterday afternoon, as caution is out for the first time here tonight. And Osborne had gotten around Nick Gunther for the race lead, so he'll be the leader here under our first caution of the night. Ryan Brommer may have been the driver involved, bringing out this first caution of the evening. Our Charlotte winner, 4th in the point standings. Didn't see any real visible damage on the Twix Toyota, so we may have had what could be classified as a harmless spin. It will bunch everybody back up here, though, as this was going into turn 1. Tries to shoot the gap there between Reggie Fogelman and Cody Lamas and just comes up into the left rear quarter panel of the 84. Has a little half spin there. Maybe a little contact with the right rear quarter panel into the outside wall, but able to continue on. Didn't lose much in terms of track position either. This was back around the 38th, 39th position. See if we can get another look here. I don't know if this camera shot's going to show us. Yeah, it will. Just drove it in there, and you see it just got loose on him. Washed up the hill. Makes contact with Cody, and just continues on his way. Little to no damage on the 87. It's going to lose him a ton of track position, though. Also, something might have occurred on the 23 of Nathan Ormond. We're going to follow up on that. Either he just came to pit road or something happened under yellow. And it looks like he came to pit road. I'm not sure if this is regularly scheduled or not. He is the only one to hit pit lane, and this looks like it's an extended stay. So Nathan Norman's going to fall off the lead lap. I didn't see any visible damage on his race car. He was trying to force his way down to the inside to get to pit road, trying to get in front of Casey Hoyt. Managed to do so, and we'll try and see if we can find out what the diagnostic is on the Xbox Dark Horse Mustang out of Michael Norman Motorsports here, but he is already -1, and we'll see if he returns to the racetrack or not. So after Osborne got the lead from Nick Gunther, that will have him be the leader on this upcoming restart. Gunther will line up in second with R.J. Bishop, Jesse Turner, Benjamin Miles, the top 5. Sadler, Levi McIntyre, Eric Monaco, Autumn Brooks, Daniel Voiles going to be the top 10. Daniel Voiles as well as Nathan Ormond, 2 drivers that are former winners this season. Voiles at Sonoma, Ormond at Manassas, who are outside the top 30 in points. That's why their names were not mentioned when we were talking about the wild card positions. Those 2 come into this race 34th and 35th in overall standings. But they are very, very close to that 30th in standings cut line coming in tonight. Nathan Ormond was only 3 points behind the cut line. Daniel Voiles only 4 points below the cut line. With Ormond falling a lap down, that's not going to help his efforts, but Voiles up inside of the top 10. If he can stay up there, could very well find himself in a wild card spot heading into next week, which will be another doubleheader with the Lights and Cup Series drivers. Will be at the Chicago Motor Speedway to complete the trifecta of short tracks we've been at here during this portion of the season. We had Hillside, mile track last week. Iowa, another mile track this week. And next week, another short track at Chicago Motor Speedway. Green flag back out here at the completion of lap 13 on to 14 for Joshua Osborne. After next week's doubleheader, then the Cup Series will be the main feature for the next few weeks, as they'll be heading to New Hampshire. They'll have that weekend to themselves. Road course racing at Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. And then the Lights and the Cup Series drivers will be back together when we're in the Bluegrass State at the 1.5 mile speedway known as Kentucky. Gunther with a challenge on Osborne. Osborne able to hold him off at the time being. Benjamin Miles fends off a challenge from Jesse Turner, who goes up a little high there and is going to lose a spot to Eric Sadler. May lose one to Levi McIntyre. Jump back up here to the front is R.J. Bishop starting to reel in the top 2. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, Chevrolet, Ford, your top 5 right now. Battle may be for second. Gunther trying to run a slightly different line than Osborne. Opens up the door down low. Here comes Bishop. Whoa, Bishop with a big run. He may try and go 2 for 1 here into 3 and 4. He'll get Gunther. Will he get Osborne as well? Is he clear? Not quite. But Osborne's going to brush the wall, so that's going to give the lead to the 98 of RJ Bishop. RJ 26th in points. One of multiple drivers that is still yet to score a top 5. Benjamin Miles riding the wall all the way through 1 and 2. Somehow he didn't really lose a lot of positions doing that, but I would be concerned about right side damage. As now Eric Monaco trying to make his way by. Both Monaco and Miles going to hit the outside wall off of turn 4. Autumn Brooks, Kyle Langland, Daniel Voiles all trying to make their way through. As Bishop under fire for the race lead, Gunther and Osborne pulled right back up to him there in 1 and 2. He gaps them down the back straightaway through 3 and 4. I mean, we now have all of our full-time drivers that have scored at least one top 10. All of our charter drivers. What about those that haven't scored a top 5 yet? Quentin Moore, who is 10th in points coming into this race weekend, has yet to score a top 5 in the first 16 races. Same for Zachary Fitzwater, Laura Chung, Cole Deaver, Daniel Bouchard. We already mentioned about RJ Bishop, Jesse Turner, Dylan Young, and Austin LaPlante. Those drivers have not scored a top 5 yet this entire season. Some of them are up inside the top 15, top 20 in points. Others mired down outside of the top 30. This is the battle for second going on. Gunther, Osborne, Turner, and now add in Eric Sadler to the conversation. It's taking place about a second and a half behind the race leader RJ Bishop, who's trying to open up some daylight from the rest of the field. Big dive into 1 for Osborne. It's going to pay off. He'll clear into the second spot. Gunther now side by side with Turner as Gunther gets the wall there off of turn 2. That's for third place. Eric Sadler, the rookie, looking on. Daniel Voiles has now worked his way up into the 6th position. Cole Deaver. Good run in the early going for the Wheaties Chevrolet. He's 7th. Points leader Levi McIntyre right now in 8th spot. And right now Kyle Langland up into the 9th position. So it looks like both of the World NOS Racing Fords running very well here. They brought a third entry to Iowa this weekend with Hiccup Bush trying to make his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series debut. He failed to qualify in the first round of Cup qualifying yesterday, but he will be attempting again next week, planning to run the rest of the season. As I just saw the 55 of Nick Gunther dive onto pit road. That would have been from the 3rd position, and I would have to assume that this is an unscheduled pit stop for the pole sitter. Let's follow the pit stop. Does he take service? He is taking service. There's no way this is regularly scheduled. We saw him go up and brush the outside wall as he's going to get some right side tires and return to the track. He's going to fall 1 lap down. He brushed the wall off of 2, but that didn't look like nearly as big a hit as other drivers have taken, and yet they haven't come to pit road. So this is one of two things. Either Nick Gunther is playing the strategy game here, short pitting, hoping that when everybody else has to pit, he can cycle around to the front, or he may have had a flat tire, flat right front or a flat right rear, and that's why they had to call him to pit road. But if that's the case, that's a tough break there for Nick, who's, as I mentioned, been on a good momentum streak as of late, up in the top 10 in points, started on the pole here tonight. He's yet to lead a lap, though, I do believe. Oh, no, he led 9 laps. So he has that bonus point at least. Top 4 are all spread out. This is the battle for 5th. Cole Deaver has caught and will pass Daniel Voiles to crack the top 5. Wasn't he one of those drivers on the list that I mentioned that hadn't scored a top 5 yet this season? Yeah, he was. Maybe tonight's the night. As Jesse Turner up the racetrack there. And he was in the wall going into 3. That's going to bring Eric Sadler to his inside. Cole Deaver in this conversation as well. Eric Sadler very slow on entry there. And Deaver, as a result, had to go up high and overstep the cushion a ton. That's going to lose him a couple of spots there to Sadler and Voiles. You can see right side damage on the 26. We know that he's been in the fence. Right side damage as well on Benjamin Miles. He's been into the wall. A lot of drivers have gone up and into the wall, whether it's off of turn 2 in the entry to turn 3 or off of turn 4. That kind of makes me wonder if we end up having a cycle of green flag pit stops, what is that going to mean in terms of amount of time spent on pit road for damage repair? Drivers up here towards the front, if they end up spending those extra couple of seconds on pit road, that is track position they are losing once the cycle is complete, and that translates to positions lost on track. Well, RJ Bishop, after getting the lead, he's been able to pull away from whoever is in second place. He's been able to enjoy clean air, but now he's going to lose that advantage as he's about to catch the tail end of the field. Lap down car of Nathan Ormond would be first on his hit list, and then some drivers towards the tail end of the pack that are on the lead lap. Dylan Poteet being one of those, along with Ryan Brommer. Poteet, with a strong run last week at Hillside, gained 5 spots in the standings, moved up to 22nd, but they did not qualify well here yesterday, and they are not running well here tonight. There you see him in the Bass Pro Shops Toyota. And he is going to fall a lap down very quickly here to RJ Bishop. Well, maybe not. Going to try and battle back. You know, it's really interesting. You know, it was last season. You ended up having the Toyotas and the, well, actually, they were then Chevrolets, I believe, and the Mazdas out of Fortnite Squad Racing. And then they made the swap over to Toyota after the Mazdas broke off to formulate Garage 55. Carson Gum, the swap over to Toyota, has been super successful as he's gone to victory lane 3 times, been in the conversation for the points lead almost the entire season. On the other side of the spectrum, Dylan Poteet currently sits with only 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s. He has gotten a pole this season, but that's about the only other highlight out of the 31 camp. And Poteet was a multi-time winner last season, was in the Final 4 to compete for the championship in the finale at Michigan. Let's drop back, see about some other drivers that have been working their way up towards the front of the field. Summer Henson in the 78, if I'm not mistaken, started very deep in the field. And she's been already able to make her way up to the 14th position. So, as I said, track position is important, but there is the possibility of drivers, based off what we saw in the lights race yesterday, mid-pack, rear of the field, able to work their way forward if they've got a good long-run car. Looks like Summer Henson may have one of those. Dylan Young, right now holding down the 15th position. 16th under contest, Jessica Shelton looking for the spot on Michael Norman. Just coming off of her best finish of the season as we are rubbing doors back here with Mitchell and Sanford for, I think that was 18th or 19th. But Jess, the runner-up finish last week to Connor Breton at Hillside. Gained a spot in the standings to 39th and trying to kind of pull off another comeback season like she did last season when she eventually won the championship. Ended up finding victory lane 3 times during the course of that season, including the championship race at Michigan. And trying to find that second half of the regular season stride that she had one season ago after pretty much 3/4 of the S3 Motorsports camp has struggled in the very early going of the season. Shelton, Matthews, and Sanford. Speaking of Matthews, as Daniel Voiles just got the wall again there. Jesse Turner's in the wall up here as well as they're trying to make their way around traffic. Osborne in second place, now going to have 4 drivers behind him in the middle of these lap machines of Ormond and Poteet. But going back to what I was going to talk about there with Kyle Matthews, he was up here in the top 10, and he is now faded back to 34th place. As a matter of fact, he is in danger of going a lap down. RJ Bishop just put Benjamin Snyder off the lead lap. Alexander Rowe, who's in a tie for second in points, now a lap down. And you see right behind RJ Bishop, that's James Qualls, the defending winner of this race. As a matter of fact, the only driver in the field tonight that has formally won a race at this venue. The other winner in Season 6, no longer in the series, and that was Mitchell Collins. So RJ having to deal with a ton of traffic. That's Austin LaPlante just up ahead of him here in the 48. Reggie Fogelman, Quentin Moore, Kyle Matthews just up ahead. Looks like Osborne may have been able to clear the traffic that he was dealing with further back. Now he'll hope the traffic holds up RJ Bishop further up. Benjamin Miles, despite the fact he's been in the wall numerous times tonight, 3rd place with Turner in 4th, Deaver in 5th. Jump back up here to RJ Bishop because we saw last week at Hillside, Cody Lamas was putting on a blistering pace, looking like he was en route to at least be the contender for the win. And as he was catching up to traffic, drivers at the tail end of the lead lap got together, slid up into him, and it ended Cody Lamas' day. So RJ Bishop, while he's right now being smooth and methodical, making his way through these tail end of the lead lap cars, putting them a lap down, he's got to be aware of everything going on here, does not want to get swept up into a wreck after what's looking like, at least for the time being, a very dominant run for the driver out of Young Motorsports. Next driver he'll deal with will be Quentin Moore. I keep watching up top of the screen as they make their way into turn 1 or down the back straightaway, see if Joshua Osborne is at all closing up, and it looks like he visibly is. Scoring currently shows him about 2.7 seconds behind RJ Bishop, but he's got a half dozen cars between himself and the 98 as well that he's going to have to get around. And now RJ, a little bit of breathing space here before he gets up to the outside pole sitter, Kyle Matthews. Joshua Osborne is now caught up to the tail end of this traffic. Let's go on board with the 27 as he tries to cut his way through the cars ahead to close up on RJ Bishop for the race lead. On board there with Osborne, we saw him shoot the gap up the the middle between his teammate James Qualls and Benjamin Snyder. And as we were on board with him, he lost the second spot. Benjamin Miles got around the outside of him to now move into the runner-up position. And Miles is closing up on RJ Bishop, who is just now able to get to the inside of Kyle Matthews. Kyle was holding the 98 up there for quite a number of laps. And here comes Miles in the 25. He'll make his way around Matthews. He now has Quentin Moore, Austin LaPlante to get by, and then next car is the race leader. RJ's about to lead his 30th lap of the night. He has lapped up to 31st place. Next driver on his hit list will be Carson Gum, the 3-time winner on the season. We already saw the other driver who was tied with him for second in points, Alexander Rowe, go a lap down. And Carson not faring all that much better. So both the Fortnite Squad Racing Toyotas appear to maybe have missed the mark in terms of the setup here tonight. Now, while these drivers are struggling, I mean, Rowan Gum are a lap down. Ryan Brommer also a lap down after he had the spin that brought out up to this point our only caution. Carson's coming into pit road, actually. Is this a regularly scheduled pit stop for him? Not sure. But right now, Levi McIntyre, who is up in the 10th position right now, has been in the top 10 pretty much the entire afternoon. Things looking really good for him to potentially extend his points lead heading into Chicago Motor Speedway next week. RJ Bishop about to be potentially run down by his teammate Destin Bolin. We'll have to see if Bolin gets to him if RJ lets him by to allow him to be back on the tail end of the lead lap. Actually, Destin is 2 laps down. Scoring is showing. I believe Destin Bolin actually just made a pit stop. So a couple of drivers a little off sequence with their pit strategy here. We saw Nick Gunther with the unscheduled pit stop. Carson Gum just hit pit road. Destin Bolin has as well. And that's why he's, look, that's the fresh tires right there. That's why he gained as much as he does on corner entry. And he is going to get at least one of his 2 laps back here, making his way around his teammate in the 98. Looks like Kyle Matthews may have also made a pit stop. So when I'm trying to see if it was under green or under caution, though. They're also showing that Anthony McCrory just made a pit stop. There's the 61. He's back out on track. So I'm not 100% certain yet as to whose pit stops were scheduled, whose pit stops were unscheduled. But yeah, Kyle is right now 1 lap down, but he made a pit stop and was able to come out, it looked like, still on the tail end of the lead lap. He then lost the lap under green flag conditions. So if, this is a big if, that was the final pit stop that drivers would have to make, Kyle could potentially cycle out to the race lead. Either he or Nick Gunther. Anthony's back in. So this will be his second trip to pit road, so I would think we could safely assume then his first pit stop was unscheduled. A couple other drivers have made multiple pit stops, including Destin Bolin and Nathan Ormond. Slow car back there on the apron. That's a car blowing up. That's the 24 of Casey Hoyt. He's off the racing surface, but engine has expired on the Raising Cane Chevrolet out of Northeast Motorsports. And Casey, last time by, was scored in 18th. He's going to make his way onto pit road. Tough break there for the defending Rookie of the Year, Anthony, back down and away. Benjamin Miles was able to get around his teammate Austin LaPlante, as he will look to continue to try and reel in RJ Bishop, who's just gotten by Cody Lamas to put him a lap down. Now getting ready to go to work on the 26th place driver, that being Laura Chung. We're now halfway home in this race. We know that everybody is going to have to at least come to pit road once. Some drivers have already made pit stops, though jury out on whether they are regularly scheduled or not. Nick Gunther, not sure if his was regularly scheduled. Same for Kyle Matthews. The others that have pitted multiple times, so more than likely not regularly scheduled pit stops for them. But we do know, despite the fact that we did have a couple of pacing laps under our only caution, we do know that now crossing the halfway threshold, drivers should be able to make it on the upcoming pit stop. As Bishop having some difficulty here with Laura Chung. Another car is blown up and is on the apron. That's Summer Henson in the 78. So back-to-back, well, not back-to-back, but in like the last 5 laps, we've had 2 drivers with engine problems. Casey Hoyt being the first, and rookie Summer Henson, who was only 1 point out of the rookie points lead coming in tonight, being the next driver. And that's got to be a cause for concern for every driver in the field here now, having 2 engines expire in quick succession. They have given the diagnostic already on Casey Hoyt. Engine camshaft. The problem for that machine is we've got some drivers on pit road. Charles Sanford is in. I thought I saw Michael Norman also on pit lane. Benjamin Miles pitting from the 2nd position. Notice most of these drivers have right side damage. Do they spend extra time on pit road repairing said damage or not? Eric Sadler is also on pit road. Here comes Osborne from 2nd. Bishop stays out. An extra lap. Dylan Young's in. Keith Batson, Connor Breton, Laura Chung, Jesse Turner will pit from inside of the top 5. Kyle Langland's coming in. Looks like Cole Deaver will stay out an extra lap. James Qualls also coming in, along with Reggie Fogelman, Benjamin Snyder. Caleb Fogler is in, Matt McIntyre, and here comes RJ Bishop this lap to pit road. Matt Haas coming in, he just got put a lap down. Cole Deaver from unofficial 2nd is coming in this lap. Levi McIntyre also in. Eric Monaco and Autumn Brooks. Looks like Shelton already made a pit stop. Poteet in this lap. They did repair the damage on the right side of the 25. Question is, how long did it take? He was 2nd when this green flag pit stop cycle began. We'll see where he cycles around to. RJ Bishop still getting service. Trying to look and see who potentially would be the one to cycle out to the lead after all this, and I feel like it's going to be Kyle Matthews. Either Kyle Matthews or Nick Gunther. Though the question is, can they make it the rest of the way on fuel when they had their pit stops? Their pit stops were much earlier than everybody else. Kyle just passed Cole Deaver. I think Kyle might cycle up to 3rd. 3rd or 4th. He's going to be behind Osborne. Now Gunther, did Gunther make another pit stop? Yeah, he made a 2nd pit stop, so actually he was not one of the drivers that would have cycled up to the front. There's Bishop with the lead. Miles did not cycle to second after he had that extra time on pit road, so Osborne now going to be second place. Kyle Matthews, we have to wait and see if he's got enough fuel to get to the end, but for now, he's in third. Jessica Shelton is right now in the fourth position. And fifth place will be, I believe, Eric Sadler, as, yes, scoring just now updates. His teammate Destin Boland is right now in sixth, so if he can make it on fuel, he could be in good shape. I think he's in the same boat as Kyle Matthews. Caution is out, I believe. Yes, it is. Caution's going to wave. That is going to save any driver like maybe Matthews, Boland, or anyone else that was going to be short on fuel. That is going to save them from going a lap down. And the trouble was on the front straightaway. Dylan Poteet was slow. Don't know if he might have been the driver involved or not. But now a ton of drivers are going to maybe take the wave around if Bishop pits. We have up to 18th place that has been put a lap down. Only 17 cars on the lead lap. And we're going to have a lot of lap machines. If Bishop does indeed stay out here, we're going to have a lot of lap machines that are going to be on the inside line for this upcoming restart. It's going to make things very, very interesting. Let's see if we can find out what brought out this yellow. And potentially may have been the 31 of Dylan Poteet. We're going to double check on that. It was not Poteet. It was actually the 61 of Anthony McCrory. Multiple laps down, and as he makes his way off of turn 4, squeezes Benjamin Miles up into the wall. Manages to keep going, almost got sideswiped there by the 28 of Caleb Fogler. Miles was on the lead lap in the 12th position, had lost track position after we mentioned he repaired that right side damage. Yeah, right there, just wanting the same piece of real estate. And boy, we are very lucky we didn't have other drivers involved. Quentin Moore got into the fence, moving up to avoid. There's RJ Bishop just now entering into the vicinity as he crosses the line. And I'm not exactly sure what happened with Dylan Poteet. Maybe he got the wall. You see him right there, right side of your screen. He was very slow coming to the start-finish line. He may have gotten the wall there through 3 and 4, and that slowed his momentum as traffic was closing up on him. So, this caution coming out, much like in the lights race, right after a cycle of green flag pit stops, we've got more than half the field off the lead lap. RJ Bishop out in front, but he is going to have to get a really good restart here because all the lap machines are going to be on the inside line, and their goal, race the leader hard, get ahead of him, get back in the tail and lead lap, hope for a yellow to come out, and an opportunity to be able to advance your position in the lineup while being back in the lead lap. We know Matt Haas is going to be one of those lap cars. His lights are out, so he'll dive to the inside. Same for LaPlante, Fitzwater, Matt McIntyre. There's Joshua Osborne, the second place car, making his way up towards the front. Jessica Shelton will line up in third, with Eric Sadler, Jesse Turner, the top 5. Kyle Matthews came to pit road. He will restart at the tail end of the field, but he will be in 17th place. So that caution worked out perfectly for Matthews. Again, I don't know if his pit stop was scheduled or unscheduled, but he stayed out after everybody else pit, got cycled back to the tail end of the lead lap inside the top 5, and caution flies. He's back on the lead lap now and should have enough fuel to get to the finish. 40 cars running. Only 17 on the lead lap. 2 drivers out of the race, Summer Henson and Casey Hoyt. RJ Bishop, who has led 50 laps so far tonight, gets us back under the green. And a great launch, a great restart there for RJ. He'll be clear of the lap cars before they even get to the entry of turn 1. Battle's going to be for second. Shelton looking low on Joshua Osborne. And she will complete the pass down the back straightaway. Osborne going to battle back, though, on the top through 3 and 4. Slipped up there. Got out of the dark gray. Shelton will take the spot. One of the drivers that fell a lap down during that cycle of green flag pit stops was Connor Breton, last week's winner, along with Matt McIntyre. A couple of drivers up in the top 10 in points, right now running in 21st and 22nd. Jesse Turner now looking low on Osborne for third. Eric Sadler right here as well. 3-car fight inside of the top 5. Kyle Langland right now in the 6th position. Another great outing for the rookie. Limited number of starts here in the Cup Series. This is only his 3rd start, but he had that great run in his debut at Charlotte and having another good run here tonight at Iowa. How about Jack Mitchell? We haven't talked much about him tonight. Oh, wreck up ahead. They saved it. Joshua Osborne got spun. Couldn't tell by who, but he saved it. Might have been Cole Deaver. I'm not sure who it was that got into him, but he hangs on to it. We avoid the caution coming out, but man, that was a hairy moment, and you're going to... Oh, never mind. We may have been able to go back and look at it because Breton just got the wall, comes down into Mitchell and Benjamin Miles, and the caution is going to fly. 3rd time tonight that the caution is going to fly, as we're 4 wide coming back to the yellow. Why are we doing this? That's the points leader, Levi McIntyre, getting spun, and more drivers pile in. Eric Monaco, Jack Mitchell, Benjamin Miles, and Destin Bolin all in that as well. Why were we 4 wide coming back to the caution? I don't know. But the yellow flag is going to wave once again. I don't believe anybody got ahead of RJ Bishop to get their lap back. Matt Haas actually did. So he'll be on the tail end of the lead lap now. But RJ going to lead, as we'll be closing on 25 to go. Let's take a look at what happened. Let's take a look at a couple of things here. First, we're going to take a look at the half spin, I guess we'll call it, by Joshua Osborne, who, by the way, is still running in 7th. So that was a tremendous save by him to not have that thing completely go around. Here's a look at that going down into 3. Connor Breton just ships it into the corner and nearly takes out the 27. Somehow we avoided the caution there. And then we ended up having Breton have another moment, this time off of turn number 2, where he's going to go up, get the wall, slides down, bounces off of the passenger side of Nick Gunther, and then nowhere for Jack Mitchell or Benjamin Miles to be able to go. Then, this is coming back to the caution. Quentin Moore, Destin Bolin, Levi McIntyre, Autumn Brooks, 4 wide. McIntyre crowds Destin Bolin down, and then right there, Miles into the back of Monaco, Mitchell into the back of Miles, Kyle Matthews getting a piece of it as well. And Benjamin Miles, who was en route to a good run here tonight, is now, because of that hit to the front end of the race car, out of the race. I mean, you look at the tail end of the pack right now. There's Jack Mitchell, no hood. Levi McIntyre, no hood. I don't know why we were 4 wide. We were coming back to the caution. Somebody should have backed out of that. Autumn Brooks actually backed out of that 4 wide. But then we were 3 wide, and cooler heads did not prevail. Now we've got a bunch of torn up race cars that really we shouldn't have had. This restart is going to be with more than 10 laps to go, so we will end up having our lap cars to the inside once again. Matt Haas, who was able to get by RJ Bishop, was on the tail end lead lap when the caution flew, cycled around to the tail end of the field, and it looks like the 8 will restart in 15th position. So Benjamin Miles is going to join Summer Henson, Casey Hoyt in the garage area. That's going to leave us with 39 drivers running and 17 of them on the lead lap. Bishop the leader, Shelton now second. Third place for Eric Sadler, Jesse Turner in fourth, and Kyle Langland in the 5th position. How about the rookies? You got Sadler third, Langland in 5th, Daniel Bouchard right behind them in 6th. And then Joshua Osborne, Cole Deaver, Michael Norman, and Caleb Fogler is going to be your top 10. Green flag set to come back out. It will be with 25 laps remaining here tonight at Iowa. RJ Bishop has locked up the bonus point for most laps led, but he's still looking for his first win on the season as he gets us back underway. Looking for another good jump to clear the lap cars, which he will do, making his way through 1 and 2, but way up the track there. Maybe a little too high for the 98, as Shelton also went a little too high. And Eric Sadler is going to move by her for the 2nd spot. Oh, Matt McIntyre into LaPlante. They keep it going. No, more cars involved. Michael Norman runs into the back of his teammate. There's wrecking on the inside line. One car's upside down. That's James Qualls. And the front straightaway is littered with race cars. Qualls on his lid. Brommer was in that. Caution is going to fly. Massive pileup on the front straightaway. Biggest wreck of the night, biggest wreck of the weekend. And it all started with a couple of lap cars getting into each other, battling, I believe it was for position between Matt McIntyre and Austin LaPlante. That went wrong. It stacked everybody up behind them and led to a massive pileup off of 4 that then culminated all the way across the start finish line. We got a lot to look at in this one. Let's start first with the contact between Matt McIntyre and Austin LaPlante, who were battling for first car 1 lap down. Matt gets a massive run here through the center of the corner. LaPlante is lifting, and the 21 pushes up into the 48. Then Michael Norman piles in. Carson Gum got into Ryan Brommer, it looked like, down on the inside line. Let's see if we can get a camera on that. And then somehow it pops the 70 of James Qualls up into the air. Kyler Sustrate spins Ryan Brommer around. He then clips Carson Gum. And then Qualls gets flipped after a hit from Dylan Poteet. The defending winner of this race more than likely is not going to reach the conclusion. As here's what happened to him. He, right there, gets hit by Brommer up into the path of Poteet. And look at all the drivers involved there. Cody Lamas, Autumn Brooks, Dylan Young, Eric Monaco. And there's a bunch of others further back there that we haven't yet seen that were collected up. Connor Breeden, I think, got a piece. Keith Batson, I think, was involved. About Kyle Matthews. Let's follow the 09. Because he was right in the middle of all this. Makes a little contact with Eric Monaco, but most everything happens around him. Dylan Young there on the apron. Poteet couldn't make it back under power to pit road. And the garage area is rapidly filling up with race cars now, as I believe we have received the 1 to green. RJ Bishop with Eric Sadler, his teammate, now in second. Shelton, Turner, Langland, the top 5. Drivers out after that incident. Surprisingly, it's only 3 of them. Dylan Poteet is going to be one of them, and then a couple of former winners on the season. Our winner from Indianapolis, James Qualls, after the flip. Keith Batson, our winner from a couple of weeks ago at Hillside, or I'm sorry, correction, at Progressive, I should say, is also out of the event. Zachary Fitzwater going to be the first car 1 lap down on the inside line, looking to get his lap back, along with Laura Chung, Benjamin Snyder, and others. But RJ has been stellar on these restarts. Going to be 20 laps to go on this upcoming restart. Our 4th restart of the night. Another solid jump for the 98. Now, can he make it through 1 and 2 without overstepping like he did on the previous restart? Much better 1 and 2 for RJ, but just as good a restart for his teammate Eric Sadler, who's going to get a nice run down the back straightaway and put some pressure on RJ for the top position. Shelton in 3rd has the lap car of Fitzwater between herself and Sadler. Then a couple of cars back before you get to 4th place. That's Kyle Langland having to deal with the lap machine of Nick Gunther, our pole sitter. Shelton going to get bypassed by another lap car, Laura Chung, making her way on past the Dodge Intrepid. RJ able to fend off the challenge from Sadler. He's starting to open up quite a bit of daylight back to the rookie in the 12. Nearly a second and a half now, the distance. Then the lap machine of Fitzwater, the lap machine of Chung, and then 3rd place, Jessica Shelton. Langland holding 4th. 5th place is under contest. Jesse Turner has it. Rookie Daniel Bouchard looking for it. And then look at this battling back here. Joshua Osborne getting put in the middle. Alexander Rowe makes his way on by along with Caleb Fogler, and I believe the yellow flag is out once again. Yes, it is. 5th caution of the night. And we're getting closer to where restarts are going to be single file and the lap cars are going to intermingle with the lead lap cars. This time turn 2 appears to be the corner that led to this yellow. A lot of damaged vehicles back here, so it's kind of a who's who as to who could have been involved to bring this yellow flag out. You had Breton back there, you had Michael Norman back there, Daniel Voiles, Matt Haas. Let's see if we can pinpoint exactly who it was. And I believe it's going to be the 26 of Daniel Voiles that this starts with. 3 wide up top with Michael Norman. Matt Haas gets into his left rear. Little chain reaction there. Wow, Connor Breton jacks up the back of Daniel Voiles. Little domino effect there off of turn 2 with the 8 getting the 26, getting the 22. I believe the 87 of Ryan Brommer got a piece of it as well. Take another look. Watch the Twix machine. He might get Michael Norman. Yeah, he does right there with the right front. And then dead on into the back of Daniel Voiles goes Connor Breton. Voiles trying to make his way back in the top 30 in points. Was running in 11th at the time. Should be able to continue. But the question is, how up to speed is he going to be? Don't necessarily know if you need an up-to-speed car with a short track like Iowa, but there are rather lengthy straightaways here, so you might want that straight line speed if you're going to try and set up a passover in 3 and 4. So we will, it looks like, when we get this upcoming restart, have yet another double file restart. Any other cautions after that, though, it will be single file restarts to the end. But RJ has been really, really good on these restarts. Been able to clear whoever the first lap car is inside every single restart. And he'll look to do it again on this upcoming restart. Drivers also have to realize, like you look back there at Shelton, Langland, Turner, they have to realize that if we end up having another caution come out, any lap cars in front of them will restart ahead of them on any future restarts. And so I think there's going to be a sense of urgency for those lead lap cars to make sure that only lead lap cars are ahead of them if there's a caution, so that way they know that the next driver they battle for position when the green flag flies is actually going to be for a position on the track. Should get the one to green this time. Connor Breton has gone to the garage area. It has not been a good night for Northeast Motorsports. 3 of their drivers out of this race. Breton and Miles out due to crash damage. Casey Hoyt with a mechanical failure. The lone man standing for the team would be Austin LaPlante, and he is 1 lap down in the 24th position. Well, RJ trying to close it out, pick up his first win on the season, potentially a playoff position. It's been a while since RJ's been in the playoffs. Also looking for the second win of the season for the Young Motorsports organization. Actually, correction, that'd be the 4th win for the organization overall. Dustin Bolin with 2 victories, Eric Sadler with 1. And Eric is going to be right there with his teammate on this upcoming restart. 13 laps to go as we get ready to go back green here at Iowa Speedway. Another great jump for RJ Bishop, but Sadler was right there with him. They will both clear the lap cars going into turn 1. Sadler with a higher entry out of 2, maybe too high, had to breathe the throttle. Shelton had to check up for him. Langland now battling Shelton for 3rd. Sadler on the back bumper of Bishop. Really had to lift through the center of the corner, and Bishop's going to pull away. Caution's out. Yellow flag out. 6th caution of the evening. And the top 4 almost all were clear of the lap machines. Fitzwater's going to straddle 2nd and 3rd. But it will be single file restarts from here on out, and Bishop Sadler will not have to contend with any lap cars. 2 drivers left. There's skid marks all over the place. I don't know exactly where this incident occurred, who it occurred with. Looks like maybe the freshest skid marks are up there in turn 3, so it might have been something on the back straightaway that made its way up to the 3rd corner. We'll see if we can find out. Benjamin Snyder was quite a ways back, might have involved him, which indeed it looks like that was the case. Jesse Turner was flying up the outside, and Snyder kind of ran him out of room. Oh man, Daniel Bouchard involved in that as well, so a couple of our lead lap machines. And we were 4 wide, coming back to the caution, and did we actually make it back? This time it looks like we actually did. Let's take a look at it again. We're going to bring it all the way back to 1 and 2. Watch the 47 of Jesse Turner. He'll be on the right side of your screen when we cut back here. Look at the run he gets on that outside line. Doesn't even brush the wall. And I don't think that Benjamin Snyder expected there was going to be a car to his outside. Clips Nick Gunther as well. Turner and Bouchard were both running up inside of the top 10 before that happened. Scoring still has Turner in the 9th position, but Bouchard dropped all the way back to 15th. A reminder next week, folks, it's going to be our last double header for a while. Lights and Cup Series drivers will be pulling into Chicago Motor Speedway. 15th race of the season for the Light Series drivers. 18th race of the season for the Cup Series drivers. Lights drivers will kick things off on Friday at 3 with pole day qualifying. Cup drivers will have their pole day qualifying session on Saturday at 1. A couple hours later at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Light Series drivers will take to the track for their main event. And then Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Cup Series drivers will cap off the race weekend from the Chicago Motor Speedway. Then for the next couple of weeks, it's just the Cup Series drivers. We'll see them at New Hampshire and Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. Very unique road course. Before then, the Cup and the Light Series drivers will come back together at Kentucky. By that point, we will be much further into the second half of the regular season, the portion of the season I call the push towards the playoffs. And we will have maybe a clearer picture of who our playoff contenders are going to be, or it may be the waters are muddied even more and we have absolutely no idea who it is that is going to be able to get into the postseason. Some really good tracks coming up here for these Cup Series drivers as well. Kentucky, you got Homestead, Watkins Glen, Bristol Dirt. We're giving Hanford Speedway another try. Hopefully we have better racing in that one where drivers don't end up having crash damage that takes them out of contention. I mean, Matt McIntyre are going to be going to that one feeling that Hanford owes him one. And then, of course, we have the regular season finale at Auto Club Speedway. Playoffs this season for both the Cup and the Light Series drivers. 7 drivers point in, 3 drivers wild card on the Light side, 10 drivers point in, 6 wild cards on the Cup side. RJ Bishop would love to be one of those drivers to lock in via a win. Green flag back in the air with 8 laps to go. Single file restart here. Bishop and Sadler pulling away from the lap machine of Zachary Fitzwater, who right now is holding up third place, Jessica Shelton on back. Young Motorsports 1-2. RJ way up the track here in 3 and 4. Sadler will look to use that to his advantage to close up for the lead. Langland's gotten around Shelton for third. He's going to try and get around Fitzwater. He will do so. Clear of the traffic, but a lot of ground to have to make up on the top 2. As now Sadler all over the back of RJ Bishop, who has led a race-high 77 laps here tonight. Now Bishop playing defense. Right down there on the yellow line. Not giving Sadler an opportunity, but here comes Langland in the 93. This is not over. 3-horse fight at the front. Shelton is clear of traffic as well. Could she get up here? Coming off the runner-up finish last week at Hillside. Battle going to be for second now as Bishop pulls away. Sadler defending against Langland. A couple of rookie stripes for the runner-up spot. Sadler too high up the track. He's into the fence. Langland will go to second. Here comes Shelton for third. She'll get the spot as it looks like Sadler was in the wall all the way down through 1 and 2. And he may get the wall again here. No, he's actually going to hold off Shelton for third. Bishop continues to lead about 5 car lengths back to Langland, who's way up and out of the groove. RJ a little slow there out of turn 4, but he at least didn't slide up to the wall. 4 laps to go. Gap was 0.6 of a second that last time by from Bishop back to Langland. Another car up in the wall back there. That's the lap machine of Anthony McCrory. Stacked up behind him there. These are all lap cars with the exception of the 28 of Caleb Fogler, who right now is in the 5th spot. Sadler now looking to get to the back of Langland for second. Shelton trying to close up as well. RJ loving what he's seen in the rearview mirror. As really slow off that corner was Eric Sadler. Shelton's going to swing around the outside of him to take the spot and move on to the podium. Out of 4, RJ Bishop putting together some really good laps. 2 to go here at Iowa. Langland quite a ways back. Shelton's back under fire from Sadler for third. Then a long ways back to Caleb Fogler. Look at the gap from Bishop back to Langland. RJ has led the most laps here tonight, over 80 circuits out in front. He's got the fastest lap of the race. And he is looking for his first win of Season 8. White flag displayed for the 98 Monster Energy Mustang GT500 out of Young's Motorsports. Down the back straightaway, over half a straight between him and Langland. Coasts his way through 3 and 4. And RJ Bishop will find his way back to victory lane. RJ Bishop is your winner here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. Langland will bring it home second. Almost got sniped by Shelton, who will get third. Eric Sadler in fourth, and it looks like Caleb Fogler brings it home in the fifth position. Well, RJ Bishop survives all the chaos. He was in the safest place for the majority of this event. Out in front. Dominating performance. Fourth win of the season for the Young Motorsports organization. First of the season for RJ Bishop. The driver that came into this race 26th in points nets his first top 5 of the season with a checkered flag. And now, where does this put him in terms of a potential playoff spot? Race concluded, standings official. Here's a look at how they finished. Langland. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of talk in Langland potentially coming up full-time to the Cup Series next season. His showcase so far, his first 3 starts, looks like he is Cup ready. Second place for him, highest finishing rookie. Shelton, back-to-back podium finishes after her runner-up finish last week at Hillside. Is this the start? Is this the start of the comeback for the defending champion? Eric Sadler, great run in fourth. Top 5 in the lights race yesterday, top 5 in the Cup race here today. Caleb Fogler, his best finish, I believe, of the season in 5th. Joshua Osborne will finish in 6th. 7th for Michael Norman. Good comeback for him. Same for Jack Mitchell, as those two were both involved in some late race cautions. They'll finish inside the top 10, 7th and 8th. And then teammates Jesse Turner, Eric Monaco, 9th and 10th. Matt Haas, we saw him race his way back on the tail end of the lead lap. He'll finish in 11th. Daniel Voiles, well-needed run in 12th. Would this finish put Voiles back up in the top 30? We'll have to see. Kyle Matthews, good run in 13th. Make that lead by McIntyre in 14th. I believe he's still going to keep the points lead and extend it as well. A lot of drivers behind him struggled here tonight. Destin Bolin will finish in 15th with Cole Deaver, Daniel Bouchard, the last of the drivers that even finished this race on the lead lap, 17 in total. Sanford, Shung, Matt McIntyre, your top 20. Let's look further on down. Some of those drivers that ran well in points coming into tonight, where'd they finish? Carson Gum, 24th for him. Alexander Rowe, who was tied with Carson for second in points, 29th for him. Nick Gunther, 2 laps down after starting on the pole, finishing 30th. Ryan Brommer, 4th in points, finishes 32nd. Connor Breton, after the victory last week, 36th is where he'll finish tonight. Former winner in Keith Batson, former winner in James Qualls in 37th and 38th. And then Summer Henson, who's been up there in the conversation as well the last couple of weeks for top 10 in point standings, was 14th in overall points. Actually, she was in one of the wild card spots via points, going to finish in 41st. So there's going to be a lot of movement for those wild card positions, I feel now, with a new driver going to victory lane and a lot of drivers that were down on that borderline, the 4th, 5th, 6th wild card positions. I feel like there's going to be a lot of movement there. Daniel Voiles potentially moving back into the top 30. We'll have to see how it all plays out. But RJ Bishop becomes yet another different winner here in Season 8, his first win of the season, and hoping that that win will lock him into a playoff spot. Still a lot of regular season left to go. We'll have to see what happens next week when we head to the Chicago Motor Speedway. But thank you for tuning in to tonight's race here from Iowa Speedway. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We have shown you full feature results, and you're now looking at your overall point standings heading into next week. Lights drivers, Cup drivers, doubleheader at the Chicago Motor Speedway, kicking off on Friday with pole day qualifying for the lights drivers. So until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, Offline Racing at its best.
following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.